one of the very most beautiful women when she was in her early 20s. I don't blame President Kennedy for, of course, he went after anything, but he did have some beautiful women.
Before her mysterious and tragic death, Mary Pinchot Meyer often spoke about President John F. Kennedy with a tone that carried both admiration and sadness, as if she sensed that his vision for the world had cost him everything. She described Kennedy not as the polished politician the public knew, but as a man who had undergone a quiet awakening, someone who had begun to see beyond the narrow boundaries of power, war, and control. To those close enough to hear her deepest thoughts, she said that during his final months, JFK had changed profoundly. He had become more reflective, more human, and more determined to pull the world back from the edge of destruction. She told friends that Kennedy wanted to turn toward peace, that he no longer trusted the generals, the CIA, or the men who constantly pushed him toward conflict. She claimed he was beginning to speak of a new kind of leadership, one based on understanding, not dominance, and that this shift had frightened many powerful people around him. Mary said that Kennedy had begun to realize how dangerous the machinery of government could be when it fell into the wrong hands. He wanted to dismantle the endless cycle of war and secrecy that ran deep within Washington's corridors. In her words, Jack wanted to bring light into the darkness, though she rarely spoke those words aloud to strangers. She believed that his assassination was not random, that it was meant to stop a man who had started to challenge the system itself. She hinted that his death had been organized by those who would never allow true peace to take root. After Kennedy's assassination, Mary's behavior grew increasingly anxious. She told several confidants that she was being followed, that she could feel eyes on her whenever she walked alone. Sometimes she would glance over her shoulder mid-conversation and fall silent, as if realizing she'd said too much. Her friends thought she was frightened but brave, a woman carrying the weight of secrets she couldn't share. She was convinced that people inside the government had orchestrated not only Kennedy's death, but were now watching anyone connected to him too closely. Shortly before her death, Mary was working on her art and keeping a private diary, one that reportedly contained details about her affair with Kennedy and her thoughts about the forces behind his death. She believed Kennedy had started exploring higher consciousness, turning to art, philosophy, and even spiritual insight as a way to guide his presidency. She spoke passionately about how he had wanted to bridge the gap between politics and human awareness, how he wanted to awaken something good and pure in the world. But she also feared that his openness to peace and truth had made him a target. When Mary was found shot to death on a secluded path in Georgetown, many who knew her were shaken, but not surprised. They remembered her cryptic warnings, her trembling voice when she said, "They won't let it end here." Her diary vanished after her death, reportedly taken by government agents within hours, and never officially recovered. What she may have written inside, her fears, her memories, and her understanding of JFK's transformation, remains an unsolved mystery. In the end, Mary Pinchot Meyer's story feels like an echo of Kennedy's own fate. Two souls who believed in peace, truth, and renewal, both silenced before they could reveal everything they knew. The tragedy of her final words and her unspoken knowledge continues to haunt history, leaving behind only whispers of what she might have uncovered about the man she loved and the powerful forces that shaped his destiny.